It didn't begin with a grand launch event. There was no massive stage, no countdown, and no social media hype. Toyota simply revealed the price of its newest electric SUV online, and within an hour, its website crashed. More than 10,000 orders poured in during the first 60 minutes. This wasn't a luxury EV or a high-performance sports car. It was an electric SUV priced at just $15,000, a figure so low that it caught the entire auto industry by surprise. While Tesla is working to maintain its market position and BYD continues expanding its leadership, Toyota has quietly redefined what an affordable electric vehicle can be. More importantly, this isn't a one-time move. It's part of a broader strategy that has unfolded over the past year. Today, we'll explore Toyota's cheapest EV, why it's creating pressure for Tesla and BYD, and why this could be the first step in a much bigger plan. When people discuss electric vehicles, Tesla and BYD usually dominate the conversation. Tesla helped popularize modern EVs, while BYD has become one of the world's largest EV manufacturers. Toyota, however, has often been overlooked because it spent years focusing on hybrid vehicles like the Prius instead of rushing into fully electric cars. Many critics believed the company was falling behind. But Toyota wasn't standing still. It was preparing. Throughout 2025 and into 2026, Toyota introduced a series of affordable electric vehicles that challenged the belief that a modern EV must cost $30,000 or more. The best example is the Toyota bZ3X, launched in China through the GAC Toyota joint venture. Introduced in March 2025, it carried a starting price of 109,800 yuan, or about $15,000. Toyota called it its first fully electric SUV in the 100,000 yuan price range. The response was overwhelming. Within an hour of launch, Toyota's servers struggled to handle demand as more than 10,000 customers placed orders. Interest had started even earlier. Blind pre-orders opened in December 2024 at just under $14,000 before Toyota had revealed the vehicle's full specifications, yet buyers reserved it anyway. Toyota didn't stop there. In March 2026, it lowered the starting price again to 99,800 yuan, around $14,500, making the SUV even more affordable. Rather than protecting higher prices, Toyota chose to make its EV accessible to even more buyers. A major reason this was possible is platform sharing. The bZ3X uses the same chassis, motors, and drivetrain as the GAC Ion V, while Toyota adds its own battery technology, software, and engineering. By using an existing platform, Toyota reduced development costs and sped up production. The bZ3X is only one part of Toyota's growing affordable EV lineup. The Toyota bZ3 sedan, developed with FAW and BYD, uses BYD's Blade lithium iron phosphate battery. After a price reduction, it starts at 93,800 yuan, about $13,500, while offering up to 616 kilometers, 382 miles of driving range. Toyota also launched the bZ5 Fastback SUV in June 2025. Starting at 129,800 yuan, or roughly $18,000, it features BYD's Blade battery and delivers up to 268 horsepower. Compared to the Tesla Model Y in China, which starts at 263,500 yuan, the bZ5 costs less than half as much while still providing fast charging from 30% to 80% in about 27 minutes and a driving range of up to 630 kilometers. In just 1 year, Toyota introduced 3 electric vehicles at different price points, all costing less than $22,000. This wasn't luck. It was a carefully planned strategy centered on affordability. Instead of competing only in the premium EV market, Toyota focused on delivering practical electric vehicles at prices that many more people can afford. That strategy could become a serious challenge for both Tesla and BYD. While Tesla has long promised a truly affordable EV, Toyota is already proving that low-cost electric vehicles can be produced, sold, and embraced by thousands of customers. BYD has built its success by offering affordable electric vehicles, especially in China. However, as it expands into international markets, it still faces the challenge of building long-term trust and profitability. Tesla, on the other hand, continues to dominate the global EV conversation, but is under constant pressure to defend its market share. Toyota has quietly entered the very price segment both companies are fighting to control, but with an advantage that neither can easily match. For nearly a century, Toyota has earned a reputation for building dependable vehicles. It has one of the world's largest dealer and service networks, operating in almost every major market. More importantly, it has built a level of customer trust that can't be created overnight through advertising. For many first-time EV buyers, especially in emerging markets, brand confidence matters just as much as price. When customers are choosing between a relatively new EV brand and a company their families have trusted for decades, that familiarity often becomes the deciding factor. Toyota also isn't starting from scratch. Over decades of selling iconic models like the Corolla and Hilux, the company has established factories, supplier networks, dealerships, and service centers across the globe. While Tesla continues investing in new factories and expanding market by market, and BYD is still growing its international footprint, Toyota already has the infrastructure in place. Now, instead of building a global network for affordable EVs, Toyota simply has to fill its existing network with them. What's considered an affordable EV also depends heavily on where you live. In the United States, for example, one of the least expensive electric vehicles available is the 2026 Nissan Leaf, priced at just under $30,000 while offering over 300 miles of driving range and a Tesla-compatible charging connector. In the American market, that's considered a major milestone, especially when the average new vehicle costs close to $50,000. But in China, Toyota is selling the BZ3X for roughly $15,000, about half that price. Of course, different battery costs, government incentives, and supply chains all play a role. Even so, Toyota has demonstrated that a well-equipped electric SUV can be produced and sold at a price many believed wasn't possible. More importantly, Toyota isn't simply talking about affordable EVs. It's already selling them in large numbers every month. The company has also made it clear that the BZ5 isn't expected to remain exclusive to China. Plans are already underway to introduce it into additional markets across Asia and Europe, targeting middle-class buyers who have wanted an electric vehicle but found existing options too expensive. At the same time, the competition between Tesla and BYD continues to shift. In 2025, BYD surpassed Tesla in global battery electric vehicle sales for the first time, selling approximately 2.26 million fully electric vehicles compared to Tesla's 1.64 million. Tesla's overall deliveries also declined by around 9% during the year. However, the rivalry remained highly competitive. Tesla regained the lead in battery electric vehicle sales during the first quarter of 2026, only for BYD to move back ahead in the second quarter by delivering more than 557,000 BEVs, compared with Tesla's roughly 480,000. While these two companies continue competing for overall EV leadership, Toyota is pursuing a different opportunity. Instead of focusing solely on sales volume, it's targeting the millions of potential customers who have always wanted an electric vehicle but couldn't justify the price. Looking further ahead, Toyota is also investing heavily in the next generation of battery technology. Solid-state batteries promise significant improvements in range, charging speed, and efficiency. However, they remain expensive to manufacture, with current costs estimated at $600 to $800 per kilowatt-hour, compared with roughly $130 per kilowatt-hour for today's lithium-ion batteries. Toyota's own roadmap suggests that these costs may not reach competitive levels until around 2030. As a result, Toyota's first production vehicle using solid-state batteries will likely be a premium Lexus model, rather than an affordable SUV. Even so, new technologies often begin in luxury vehicles before gradually becoming available across mainstream models. If that pattern continues, the innovations introduced in Toyota's future flagship vehicles could eventually benefit the company's affordable electric lineup as well. Toyota isn't the only manufacturer pursuing this technology. Mercedes-Benz has already tested a prototype EQS equipped with solid-state batteries, reportedly capable of traveling nearly 750 miles on a single charge. Meanwhile, companies like QuantumScape, supported by Volkswagen, are also racing to commercialize solid-state battery technology. The company that successfully develops this technology at scale and at an affordable cost won't simply launch a better battery. It could redefine the entire electric vehicle industry. Toyota appears to be betting that when that moment arrives, it will already have one of the world's largest, most trusted, and most affordable EV customer bases ready to adopt it. Looking at the bigger picture makes Toyota's position even more impressive. In 2025, Toyota, including its Lexus brand, sold a record 11.32 million vehicles worldwide, marking its 6th consecutive year as the world's best-selling automaker. For comparison, Tesla delivered approximately 1.64 million vehicles, while BYD sold around 4.6 million during the same period. Those numbers highlight an important reality. While Tesla and BYD dominate headlines in the electric vehicle space, Toyota continues to operate at an unmatched global scale. If the company successfully combines that manufacturing strength with affordable electric vehicles, the competitive landscape of the EV industry could change dramatically over the coming years. Despite being the world's largest automaker, Toyota still trails far behind Tesla and BYD when it comes to pure electric vehicle sales. In 2025, the company sold fewer than 200,000 battery electric vehicles worldwide, a small fraction of its total global production. At first glance, that may seem like a weakness, but that's exactly why the story of the Toyota bZ3X is so important. Toyota isn't trying to beat Tesla or BYD by copying their strategy. Instead, it's taking advantage of its greatest strengths: its massive manufacturing capacity, decades of customer trust, and a diversified approach that combines hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and fully electric vehicles. Rather than chasing the highest performance or the fastest acceleration, Toyota is competing where it believes the biggest opportunity exists, delivering affordable electric vehicles without sacrificing technology or quality. This raises an obvious question. If Toyota has already proven it can build a feature-packed electric SUV for around $15,000, why hasn't the company fully committed to electric vehicles around the world? The answer lies in Toyota's philosophy. Toyota doesn't simply follow industry trends. It studies market conditions and builds products that match what customers actually need. In 2025, hybrids accounted for roughly 42% of Toyota's global vehicle sales, while fully electric models represented less than 2%. That difference reflects the reality of many markets. Across regions such as rural India, Southeast Asia, Africa, and parts of South America, reliable charging infrastructure is still limited. For many families, depending entirely on an electric vehicle isn't yet practical. Hybrids solve that problem. They don't require charging stations, refuel at any gas station, and have already proven themselves over decades of real-world use. Since the original Prius debuted in 1997, Toyota has continuously refined its hybrid technology, earning a reputation for reliability, low maintenance costs, and battery systems that often last 7 to 10 years, or even longer. That's a level of long-term confidence that most modern EVs are still working to establish. Toyota believes hybrids will remain the most practical choice for millions of customers until charging infrastructure becomes widespread. At the same time, the company is steadily building an affordable electric lineup so that when the market is ready, Toyota will already have trusted EVs available at competitive prices. This long-term approach may be Toyota's biggest advantage. Every customer who buys a bZ3X or bZ5 today could become a future buyer of Toyota's next-generation electric vehicles, creating loyalty long before more advanced technology reaches the mass market. That future revolves around solid-state batteries. According to Toyota's development roadmap, the company is progressing through 3 major phases: improving battery performance, expanding pilot production during the second half of the decade, and targeting commercial production between 2027 and 2028. Toyota actually demonstrated a solid-state battery prototype as early as 2020, years before many competitors publicly discussed similar technology. However, challenges involving durability, manufacturing, and production costs have delayed large-scale commercialization. Industry experts remain cautious. Battery breakthroughs have often been announced years before they became commercially viable, and many promised timelines have slipped. Still, Toyota has a history of taking its time before introducing major technologies. The company followed the same strategy with hybrids. Instead of rushing to market, it spent years refining the technology until it was reliable, affordable, and ready for everyday drivers. That patient approach eventually helped make the Prius one of the most successful hybrid vehicles ever produced. Toyota is expected to introduce its first production solid-state battery in a premium Lexus model rather than a mainstream Toyota vehicle. Launching through Lexus allows the company to absorb the higher production costs while refining the technology before expanding it into more affordable models. Once manufacturing costs begin to fall, Toyota could repeat the same strategy that made the bZ3X so successful. Develop the technology in premium vehicles, improve production efficiency, work with local manufacturing partners, and eventually bring advanced features to affordable electric cars at prices that challenge the competition. While Tesla and BYD continue competing from the top down, focusing on longer range, higher performance, and premium technology, Toyota appears to be building its EV strategy from the bottom up. Its goal is to attract millions of everyday buyers who simply want an affordable, dependable electric vehicle today, then offer them more advanced technology as it becomes practical and affordable. Toyota has successfully used this patient strategy before. When much of the automotive industry experimented with alternative technologies during the early 2000s, Toyota quietly focused on improving hybrids. Over time, the Prius became one of the best-selling vehicles in markets like California and established Toyota as the global leader in hybrid technology. The company also watched many early EV startups spend enormous amounts of money developing entirely new platforms before stepping into the market with decades of manufacturing experience, an established supplier network, and one of the world's largest dealer and service organizations. This is why Toyota's hybrid strategy shouldn't be mistaken for hesitation. It's a carefully planned business model. Every hybrid Toyota sells today generates healthy profits, keeps factories operating efficiently, and helps fund billions of dollars in future technologies like solid-state batteries. Unlike Tesla, which had to build its entire business around electric vehicles from the beginning, or BYD, which benefited from years of strong domestic support as it expanded, Toyota can finance much of its EV development through the success of its existing hybrid business. That's the key point many critics overlook. Toyota isn't sitting on the sidelines of the electric vehicle race. It's using the profits from today's proven technology to invest in tomorrow's breakthroughs, moving at its own pace while preparing for a future it believes will arrive on its own timeline. If history is any guide, that patient approach has worked for Toyota before, and the company is betting it can work again.